to the stream. This stream, we're gonna talk about accessibility. Website accessibility, a not super hot and popular topic, but an actually very important one. And before we start, I just want to be honest about something. And that is that I honestly didn't really think about accessibility for a long time. I've been making websites for years now, and it wasn't really on my radar. I heard some people talk about it, but I was just like focused on designing and building mainly. But slowly, more and more people started to talk about it. And then at some point I realized like, hey, actually not everybody experiences websites in the same way. Wait, let me quickly check the comments. No closed caption for this. Yeah, it's a live stream. The captions are generated afterwards. That's not how good technology is. Okay, let me continue with the intro. So not everybody, for example, has perfect eyesight. Not everybody can use a mouse. Some people rely on keyboards, screen readers. And other people might have slower internet or cognitive challenges, that they not can see colors well, conditions that make animations very overwhelming. I mean, some websites can be overwhelming, right? Even though a lot of designers love it when you put a lot of animations on the website. So it's easy, I think, to forget these things until somebody points it out. And the person who made me aware of this is Anne. I met Anne on a WordCamp event and we talked for like an hour. I don't even know. It was very easy to talk to her. That's also because we're both Dutch, by the way. And don't worry, we will talk in English in this stream. So I checked out some of the educational stuff on YouTube about accessibility. But it was quite hard. Like it has to do with laws and a lot of technical things, and I didn't really understand it, so I just put it off. It was one of these things which I didn't really want to touch, but you know, more and more people started to talk about it. And then at some point I was like, you know what, I think I need to learn something about this because it should be part of websites. It's actually probably a lot more people than what we think that have certain challenges navigating websites. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ask Anne again if she wants to come on my stream and explain to me how this all works. And so I invited her and she said yes. And so here she is. Yay!
Hey.
Hey.
Hello everyone. I know. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Finally. We're having a talk on a YouTube video. We wanted to do this for a long time, right? Yeah.
And then life happens.
Yeah, life happens. We are all so busy. So tell me a little bit about yourself, and especially like, why did you decide to specialize in this subject? Because you call yourself a I should say it correctly, accessibility coach and
mentor. I like to say mentor, coach, specialist. Well, I come from a very creative background, a creative family. And something that I always got from my past is create without boundaries. You know, feel free to do and express yourself in any way you like. And so with that, in 1998, I started building my first websites, and I was designing and doing everything wrong. And then it got better and better and better and better. And then I thought I was doing really great. And I heard about accessibility, but my knowledge didn't grow in that. And I didn't know how little I knew. I knew, okay, my headings have to be in order. I have to write good alt text to images, but I didn't even really understand why. That's all I heard. And then 5 years ago, I saw a tweet flying by a lady named Lorene. At that time, she was working for Microsoft. She's an accessibility expert. And she wrote this tweet. I didn't know who she was. She just wrote, "Today my father called me. He was crying on the phone. He wanted to be on the internet for 1 week by himself without having to ask for help. And my father is blind. So if you now wonder if your site is accessible, then it sure is not. Go learn." I wrote a
Wow.
blog about this. And I don't know why I had heard and read more things about that, but that one just hit me. I was incredibly upset about it, and then I dove into this, and I have ADHD on steroids,
Okay.
and this made me go into a complete hyper focus over the topic. So I
Whoa.
dove in. I'm like, what is it? What is it for? And first I was like you are now at this point. I'm like, I'll never learn this. This is so crazy. This is restricting. What am I going to do? I can't build a nice website ever in my life again if it has to be accessible. And then I thought to myself, no, 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 no. You've learned to think in possibilities. Come on, it can't be that bad. And I started to dive into that. So this is one pillar. The second pillar is I love to do things that are not just good for me, but also for a community. So I want to be able to make my living.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm not
of
some
course.
philanthropic institute,
Yeah.
but when I can do something that benefits thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of others, hey, that's what keeps me going, right?
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, and I'm not a classic accessibility measure in that sense, because I figured out really fast that a lot of people who work in accessibility as testers and specialists and guides, they mostly come from a very social driven background. They have a lot of empathy. They want to do things right by everybody. And this puts them in a very difficult position, because when you work in accessibility, you're also always the bad actor. You're always the one telling developers, designers, copywriters, you should do it differently. The thing is, it's the way you say it. If someone tells you this is wrong, I don't know what happens to you, Rino, but if someone tells me your design is wrong or is bad,
Yeah.
I stop listening to you. I hate
Yeah.
you instantly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It castrates your creativity in every way. But if someone would tell you, like, this design is amazing and I see where it comes from, what your thought process has been, and let's look at how we can make changes and adapt it in such a way that even more people can enjoy this. That's a whole different story. I actually
Yes.
find that especially designers feel positively motivated. But nothing should come from no. A lot of people are coming from no. This is bad. This is blah 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 blah, blah.
Yeah, I feel like many accessibility experts, from what I've seen and what I've heard from others, they're like, well, how would I say it? They're very passionate in the way they talk, but sometimes it also gets a little bit extreme. It's like they're following the rules very strictly, and they want everybody to follow those rules very strictly. But this, yeah, it really depends on the communication. But I've seen a few situations where it's actually scared designers, developers, and even creators to even go into this topic, because some accessibility experts are very extreme about it. So I was, when I saw that, I was like, is it not just better if we just slowly learn together, you know? Like, even for Elementor videos, like, I've made mistakes in my videos, right? It's like, doesn't mean, you know, I should be burned to the ground. It's like, it's already
No.
great, you know, we're all sharing, we're all learning. And so what do you think it's like people are so passionate about this, and like, yeah, sometimes a little extreme?
Yeah, I don't know if I should go into that too deeply, because
Okay.
you know, I would judge people personally here. People probably have reason to do so, and you know, there is something that people tend to forget. We live in the WordPress bubble, and we live in an all-in-one world, and especially massive, powerful tools like Elementor and Bricks Builder and all the other page builders that are out there, and even Gutenberg these days give you the power, or anyone the power, to be everything, to be chocolate in a website, which is pretty risky if you look at it from a technical point of view. Because if you would do this with a house, you would look at it completely different. You would never let the carpenter do the architectural drawings of your house. And you wouldn't, this is so. With that comes great responsibility when you're building a website. And this is something that has gone lost over the years. And there's another thing that people always try to come from efficiency. They want to do things better. So people started building component libraries, for example, to enable us to be that all-in-one person, that you can build this website and it looks great and you can put on all the elements and you don't need to hire that developer. You don't need to hire people to do all kinds of extra stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hire expertise. And then you get something like an IKEA situation, because you can buy a kitchen from IKEA and it looks great when it's been built into IKEA, and then you're going to try and build it in your own house. And it proves difficult, but they give you all the tools to do that.
Yeah.
Now, and this is where I think the pressure for a lot of people active in accessibility comes from, that they are so passionate about this that they actually want that the people who build all these page building solutions to do right by the user, because you, as a user from all-in-one systems like that, do not get to touch the code under the hood.
Yeah.
You don't. But you do get to touch a lot of other things. And a lot of the issues in accessibility in websites in general, doesn't matter what you build it in, are low-hanging fruit. Color contrasts, font choices, that kind of stuff. There are so many quick wins. And the great thing is, if you start adapting your website, and it doesn't have to be an instant process, it's progress over perfection. It's the most important thing there is, progress over perfection. If you're measuring the results, you'll see it.
Yeah, I like that mindset a lot more. That's a positive way of thinking. So that's what I think. What I also like about your content, like you are doing it from a positive point of view, instead of the teacher that just hits you if you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The only time I go crazy is when I see people giving out advice that is absolutely detrimental.
Okay.
That's
seen that
but that doesn't happen very often. I've seen it. And still, then you have to think about how you approach someone, and there are people that I have tried to approach over the years that never come back. So and then I just give up. I don't have an opinion on that. I'm like, okay, if you don't want to know, that's fine. I'm not here to be your mama and say, hey, yeah, you have to do this. Well, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's also for me the reason. Like, I know some subjects are a little bit more sensitive, so that's why I wanted to invite you. I was like, I don't want to burn my hands, like giving wrong information. And so I'm just gonna invite someone that knows, that has made their life about this, and that's, I think, the best you can do.
But this is where everyone could start. If you start from realizing that there are things you do not know, there is nothing wrong with you not knowing that. And it is fantastic if you're able to admit that to yourself and to others, like, I don't know about this. Where am I going to get the expertise? And then you can go and ask, because there's another thing about people working in accessibility. I think they're the most helpful people I've ever met. Really, if you approach them and say, would you mind teaching me or helping me out? Or and you could invite people to give training and courses and all that stuff. They are generally so helpful. If you go on Slack, there's an accessibility channel on Slack. It's amazing. Beginners are welcome. People who are already in it for years. And I can tell you one thing about accessibility specialists. I've met people who've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah. And
they still say, I don't know everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with every profession,
don't
right?
Worry.
Like,
don't worry about that.
No. Yeah, I feel like it's also coming from this fear of the law, because there has been like, I mean, the EU and the USA now, like they have starting to have laws, from what I understand about this, and it's not for everyone and every website. If I understand it correctly, like me, you should correct me, but like it's when the law gets involved. That's my point. Then it's when people get really scared because they don't want to get a fine, and then like it just becomes this tension thing.
Yeah, and then you get these really fugly, fear-based designs. Let's not do it wrong. Yeah, I get that. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, let me be clear about one thing. Um, these laws have been brought into effect because too many important websites, big websites, are. It's not just people who have visual problems. It's people with cognitive issues. It's to give you the rough number. About 25% of humanity has some form of a disability.
What?
And
25?
yes, and we are growing older, and growing old is not considered a disability, but if you take old into concern, that number is even going higher. Things that people don't realize is that 1 in 12 born as men has a form of color blindness. That is 8%.
1 in 12.
And
Wow.
yes, and these are incredible numbers. But also seasonal things or temporary things. When people have hay fever, in most countries, an average of 20 to 25% of people suffer from hay fever. If you have hay fever, you're tired, your eyes tear up, your nose is stuck during a couple of months in the year. You are not able to process information the same way like you do in winter when it's not there. And this is okay. This is one thing. Now the law that is coming, I'm because I'm in Europe, I will talk about the European Accessibility Act that is coming into effect at the end of next month. It is to protect consumers. It's hitting the business to consumer market. So web shops, for example, and then it has to be web shops that either have 10 employees, officially 10 people employed, or 2 million turnover or more. And that sounds like a massive amount, but it's not that hard to reach 2 million turnover. If your margin is zero, you don't make any money. So but those are the numbers. They had to set something, and they set the threshold to what they call micro companies. Anyway, so companies like MediaMarkt, companies like Amazon, companies selling to consumers in the EU. It doesn't matter if you're in India or in America or far away than anywhere. If you sell to consumers and you are a part of a company that is that threshold and you have a web shop, for example, then by law you have to be accessible. And this is to protect that large number of consumers in the EU that otherwise cannot use the web. It's also been there for governments and stuff, but we should not go from the law. I actually don't even want to talk about this law. I don't know why I get myself into talking about it again, because
I did that. It was my fault. But
Yeah,
like,
it's okay.
it's a fear. Okay, it's like a fear we
yeah.
have.
No, I get it. But let me. I just, I want this to be about positivity and not about fear. And I get your fear.
Yeah.
But here are some of the positive things. I have a use case on my website because people told me, oh yeah, the accessibility is super woke and it's all from the last 2 years, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have a case on my website where a British supermarket had an online shop. They built a second one next to it at that time and made it accessible to people with visual impairments. So that is just a large group of a small amount of the people who accessibility is for. They invested £35,000 and it got them 13 million additional revenue per year.
Wait, how does improving your accessibility can lead to more growth?
It leads to more growth because more people are comfortable using your website. And And because we as people who have all our faculties, well, I do not have all my faculties, but we can get to that point another time. I have a
Yeah.
lot of cognitive issues. But we assume that we know what blind means, for example. You know, there's legally blind.
Yeah.
We assume that we know how people use the web. We think that it's only about the browser, but when people get older, for example, they will make the screen a little bigger or just the text a little bit bigger. There are people who have a sensitivity to light.
Wait, are you saying I'm getting old because I zoom in my browser? Are you saying that?
Absolutely. Oh man, I still remember the time when I had to give in to setting the font size on my iPhone larger,
Ooh.
and then I started looking for it. Like, is it normal at this age that I have to do this? And you know what is super surprising?
No.
To read that millions of young people, because they get banged with all this, how do you say, they get not banged, confronted with so much information and everything,
Yeah.
actually use the accessibility settings on their phone to enlarge everything to get
Oh.
less input, less cognitive pressure.
Wait.
Young
Wait.
people who are not known as the target group of accessibility.
Wait, I want to say something. I want to say two things. Like yesterday, I watched a documentary on YouTube, and it was called "Is AI Making Us Dumber?" And it had this concept of what is it? I think it was cognitive offloading. A beautiful term. And it basically said that if you use tools like ChatGPT, not everybody uses it to just improve their email or make a summary. Sometimes it's also we are so overwhelmed in this world that we just use the tool, and then even worse, our prompts become more lazy, and then of course the output gets more worse. But like we use AI as a cognitive offload. So it's like, and I've read this in books as well, like this time in history is insane. Like we are being bombarded with things. And so that's one thing that I see, like that's proof that we are overwhelmed. And then thing that I realized myself as a content consumer, not as a creator, but as a consumer, I don't like YouTube videos anymore that have like a lots of like special effects and like but like 2-3 years ago there was one YouTuber, you probably have that as well, like there's like there was one YouTuber called Mr. Beast. I mean, he's still super big. I think he's the biggest right now, and he made this kind of like a trend on YouTube, and then all YouTubers started to follow that kind of editing style, because he basically said like, you need to focus on the retention, and if people drop, then you should add an effect. And so it became this like extreme overload of impulses.
That's cognitive overload.
Yeah, that's an overload. Yeah,
101. Yes.
Yeah, and so now I have actually decided to keep my editing more simple in my videos, because I don't want my viewers to have that experience. And
it's
click
the
away.
Same. It's the same with background music. Videos that have background music while they're trying to be educational.
Yeah.
I don't know what your brain is doing, but my brain is constantly distracted when I hear background music. I do actually hear background music right now. I don't know where it comes from.
Yes, I have background music. Yeah, it's very low. You can put it lower as well, but yeah, okay.
It drives me nuts
one rule.
because
I have one rule: no voices. If there's like a voice, then it's like a no-go. But like lo-fi, chill in the background, that's kind of like okay.
Well, I am a musician and also a composer. So when I hear music, my brain wants to tune in on that. So now I'm split into two pieces because I'm trying to focus on the dialogue that we're having. And
really?
I am but it doesn't matter. You can leave it on. I can live with it for now. But what I want to tell you is I wrote an article. It actually had to do with color contrast, but the principle is the same. I wrote color contrast is like a bad smell. in a physical store. So imagine this. You are out, you've been out there, you're tired, you've been working, you need to go to the city and you need to go get some stuff. And then there is this one thing that you could order it online, but it's hard to, or like shoes. Let's try ordering Nikes. I always get the wrong size when I order Nikes, right? So Nikes is something I would buy in the shoe store. Now imagine I go into the shoe store and I'm like, I really want those Nikes. I want to take this with me on my vacation for tomorrow because I'm last minute Missy, right? And then I'm in the store and it smells a little. There's this, like, someone stepped in dog poop before me, or maybe their sewer is off, or there's something wrong, or maybe it's the bin in the kitchen. We don't know, but something is off. But initially, you're just like, okay. But you go in there because you want those shoes. And then it's getting hotter, and maybe the airco is off, and it takes long, and you have trouble finding what you need. And then that every impulse that you get that is negative is getting stronger, but it is an unconscious process until you decide, you know what, I don't need new shoes. I can get them somewhere else. I'll do it after my holiday. What people who build websites need to realize is that if your website prevents those negative impulses, if it has positive impulses, not too many choices, no overwhelm, just get to it, get to the point kind of website. People are not going to walk out of your site. They're not going to walk out of your store. And what everybody with all the animation voodoo doesn't realize is that they on the phone, people just want to have one button. I want to get to this, I want to get to this, and then I want to click, and then I want to get to where I am. And if you then get the universe on LSD on your phone, you're like, oh, forget it. I'll go find another site.
The universe of LSD. That's how you call these
Yeah,
websites.
yeah, that's what I call them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so that means that you probably really hate or dislike those award-winning designer websites.
Well, I don't like to speak in terms of hate.
Yeah, you're right.
Or don't like.
Sorry,
It's because
sorry.
that is a personal preference. No, that's okay. But then now people learn what I'm all about. It's about positivity, and I understand that people have strong opinions, and they all want to say this is the solution, or this is the best thing to do, or this. But there is as many solutions as there are people. There is no all-in-one solution for many things.
Yeah, okay,
And
but
when I see these award-winning websites, now let's say you're a web agency, right?
yeah,
And your customers want those animations.
yeah,
They force you. They're like, if you don't do them, I'm not going to hire you.
yeah,
What you can do is try to explain to them what I just explained to you. But you can also, after that, let it go. Because if they want you to do that, you do that. You have to earn your living, right?
okay.
And you can try and explain it to them, and maybe they're not the right customer for you. That could be. And those award-winning websites are very often web agencies that have to show off everything they do.
Yeah.
And they can't. You don't get a second chance for a first impression.
Yeah.
What is important is that there are some things that you should never do wrong, even if you make the biggest animated experience in the world. It's things like your heading order and your color contrast.
Okay, let's talk about that. Like a little bit more like practical things. We now know that we shouldn't look everything through the lens of the law. At least that gives me some peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's what I already took away from this talk, because I looked it through the lens of the law, but so that's already nice to know. And then what's also nice to know is some simple things that we can do, right? And I can already tell you that one of the things that I learned in design school was, they call it the magical number of 7. that you should never add more than 7 menu items in your top menu next to your logo.
Mm-hmm.
And that always helped me, because if you have more than 8 items in your top bar, first of all, there's no space, so it becomes cramped, and that already adds a little bit of stress to the website. But it's also overwhelming, so you should think about maybe a drop down or putting some
Mm-hmm.
links in your footer. And colors is also something I learned in design school about contrast, but it's kind of like cool to like work in those soft colors a little bit, or very bright colors on top of bright colors. So like, I think that's interesting to think about. What would you say? Do you agree with my 7 menu rule?
I love that rule. And actually, it would be so great if there's so many people who are not with your design professional background who want to learn, who do not have a chance to go to an academy or a school for that. And people like you can teach them so much. And the 7 menu item other topic, and you can stop me if you think it's the wrong moment to talk about it. But I would like to say something about mega menu.
Mm. Okay, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people will hold that rule and say, okay, well, I will have 7 or less items, and then you click a menu item, and then you get this fly out mega menu, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even beginning to talk about can you reach every item in there by keyboard or by screen reader. It's just the mega menu experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, one of my favorite companies, IKEA. You've been to IKEA? You know that moment where you're in the middle of, I don't know, the couches and the kitchens, and you need to go to the bathroom like crazy. And they're going to force you, unless you know the shortcuts, which I find very hard to find, to go through the entire store
Yeah.
all the way down, because in Europe, the IKEA stores, the toilets is always at the first floor and at the bottom. Now, websites that have large menus, large complex menus that do not have a way to skip menu will force someone who depends on a keyboard or a screen reader to go through that over and over and over again, because as soon as you click a link and you go to a page, the page reloads, and what happens is that automatically your cursor, if you could see it, if it was still a cursor like in the old days when we didn't have this beautiful graphic interface, it is in the top of the page. And then if you want to get into this page and you have to go through tab a 50 million times through that big menu just to get where you want to be, you're out of there. I don't know how long you last in IKEA, but after 15 minutes, my marriage is in danger. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really annoying if you have to walk through the whole thing and figuring out the shortcuts. But you are of course referring to, navigating through a website and getting to the place where you want to be, right? And the menu is a very important part of that, and that's why you should make sure that that element at least is accessible. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but also you should think about how you structure it. Like, how would you the best people always ask me what is the best test tool for a website when I create one, or when I work with someone who creates one. What is the best test tool? What automated tool should I take? And then I'm like, you know what? Take your finger and start using that tab key on your keyboard and see when you press tab 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 whether you can even see if you are on a certain link, or if you are going somewhere, if you are able to follow what is happening. Because when you use the tab key, it will go to all the interactive elements, and
Mm.
then when you see, hey, that's not working, that's one of the things that are pretty easy to resolve.
Mm.
And another thing you can do, I created a YouTube video about that. How you can actually simulate in your browser, you can simulate color blindness.
Okay.
And then you can see what someone, for example, with green cone or red cone issues, how they see your website. or you put your website into grayscale, and then you can see whether it works for you.
So there are automatic tools that can check your contrast.
There are automated tools that can check your contrast. Yes, there are. There is something like a tool called Wave from WebAIM, Silk Tide. I could share those links with you so you can put them in the description later on.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is these automated tools will never find more than 30 to 35% of your issues, but everything it finds is low-hanging fruit. And the next low-hanging fruit is testing by hand. Can I go through it?
Maybe, but can you also maybe check quickly your Wi-Fi if you're on the right network? Because I'm getting some comments that your camera is a little bit too blurry at the moment.
Oh, it's doing that again.
Maybe, yeah. I don't
I
know.
think I have a problem with my camera in general.
Someone had a comment actually. I had a tip. He said like you can turn off the blur. Wait, where did that?
Okay, I turned off the blur. Is it better now?
We'll see. Let's wait for the comments to come in. The sound is good though, so that's good.
All
Let's
right.
also check a little bit of a few comments because I know us. We can keep talking for hours, but we're also here live, so let's invite some people. TJ asked, Anne, what is the alternative to mega menus? Yeah, is like mega menus a complete no-go, or what is your answer?
No, mega menus are not a complete no-go, but building a mega menu that can be used by people and assistive technology is a specialism, in fact. And this is something that specialism part is the responsibility of the tool that you use. So, for example, whether you use Bricks or Elementor or in the block editor, whatever you use, the people who create the code under the hood that you cannot touch, it's their responsibility to do that. But what we should do if we find that a mega menu isn't working by keyboard, for example, is we go tell them that. And then don't be like those angry accessibility people, like you described earlier. I mean, there are a lot of really nice and happy ones too, right? I don't want to crash down on my colleagues here. They just get a lot of negativity themselves. But the same goes for the developers. So, hey, let's talk Elementor. We're talking about Elementor a lot here today, right? They are on GitHub, and you could say, hey, folks, this doesn't work. This is horrible that this still doesn't work in 2025.
Yeah.
You could also create a screencast for them and say, hey, look, this is what I get.
Yeah.
Can I help you
do
do
that
something
sometimes,
about
by
it?
the way. I do that a lot to companies. Like when there's something I don't like or it's not working,
Yeah.
I just create a screencast. Yeah.
I do too. It is so helpful, and send your system information. Don't make them beg for it. That's the same for support. And there are a lot of companies that have a support mechanism where they cannot answer your question if you didn't send your system information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So you don't have to replace a mega menu, but you should think about the UI and the UX of your website first. This is the beginning of the process. Does it need a mega menu? Does it really need that?
Yeah,
What's
maybe.
that mega menu gonna do on a cell phone, huh?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe websites. I mean, mega menu is kind of cool, right? So you like many people just want to add it because visually it looks cool. But the question, of course, should be, what do you actually need, and do you not overwhelm people with like because it's a mega menu requires a hover first of all, and a drop down as well. But sometimes, I mean, this is just me talking as a UX designer, not as an accessibility person. But like, I know from UX, like sometimes just clicking on one page link and then on that page giving more information on where you can go is more effective than trying to put everything in the menu,
Yeah.
because there's also this feeling of fake progress um, when clicking on things. I mean, fake, yeah, well, it's not really fake. It's like you're going somewhere, but if the website doesn't create any, how would I say it, like disturbance between what you think is going to happen and what's happening, then you feel like you're going somewhere, and then it doesn't matter that there's a few extra clicks. Uh, and of course, like extra clicks is not always good, but sometimes it is good. Like, and I think it fits into this story.
Yeah, I see designers get into heavy discussions on Reddit about breadcrumbs.
Okay.
But that breadcrumbs in complex websites with complex structures are so important, because when you have a breadcrumb and you have to go down into a nested page of a nested page of a nested page because you got the chance to set 25 filters for whatever you're looking for in a web shop, for example, then it's easier for you to get back. And this is the thing. It sounds strange to say this to a designer, but it's not what you like that counts. What counts is whether it is usable
Yeah.
for someone.
Yeah. I mean, okay. This
And
is
the
a
first
great.
thing
Oh,
is,
sorry.
do you? Yeah, good. No, go ahead.
No.
Otherwise, I never stop talking.
Okay. Okay. Now I feel safe interrupting you. No, but like I really
You
agree
can.
with this, because many designers, they are, yeah, to say it really bluntly, they're selfish in the way they design, and because they want like a nice portfolio item, and they care more about that than about the actual client. And I was like that like 10 years ago, because you want to make it as a designer, and especially when you're starting out, you want to prove your value, so your portfolio then feels more important than the client's results. But like it's not how it is. Like, you're not an artist, but many designers feel like they are an artist, but they're not, because design is somewhere in between art and science. And so there is also a lot of science, because you're designing for users, you're not designing for an art gallery.
You know, it's interesting. This is also a wonderful language problem because, for example, we're Dutch, but it happens in German as well. In a lot of language, design is immediate. The word design is immediately connected to what something looks like graphically.
Yeah.
But in the English language, they sometimes say it's made by design. It was supposed to be like that. So, um, and this is something that causes a lot of confusion for people. They think, oh, design is only the colors and the choices of components and stuff. But design is actually how it works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe an interesting analogy is when you have a beautiful restaurant, it opens up and they invested 20,000 euros in 10 special chairs at a very expensive table. And then you, who are 1 meter 80, come in, and these chairs are too low for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
She could get through because she's on this list. I'm sorry for that. So you come into this restaurant and you were willing to pay a lot of money and you thought it was great. And then the chairs, those beautiful, expensive design chairs, are uncomfortable. You're not coming back.
No.
So great, artistically really great experience, zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you speak in terms of accessibility, this is instead of thinking, oh, I have to make an accessible design. think about it has to be a usable design and it has to be an inclusive design. This is an
Oh,
inclusive is a word that has been tainted by a lot of angry discussions and the current
yeah,
situation in the USA where they
yeah,
are trying to destroy DEI and all that stuff.
yeah,
It's but I have discussions with people who say it has to be like this, the rigid way that restricts you without thinking in solutions. And I'm like, we have to be inclusive for everyone. We're
yeah,
not just inclusive for the people who depend on assistive technology. We have to be inclusive for everyone, also for the people who do not depend on assistive technology.
yeah.
And just to be clear, this is assistive technology too, right?
Yep, yep,
Your glasses are,
yep. There are lots of
and
people with not yeah, we are not perfect humans. Yeah. I wanna just uh, m- put a quote in here.
mm-hmm,
Um, if I say it correctly, um, function over form. It's a term that comes from
absolutely.
architecture. Yeah, and I
Mm-hmm,
teach this. I teach this in my course as well. Like I'm now like in the process of releasing my Figma design course, and it's very annoying for some people because I don't teach Figma in the first four chapters. And
mm-hmm,
that is because I want them to understand that design is not about Figma. Figma is a tool, and you should not even open Figma before you know the most important stuff, before you figure out what's the goal of the website, what do you actually need, who is going to use this website. And so you need a lot of things before you actually start adding all of these things. And I think now what you're saying, this, the way you explain it, it's quite doable to integrate this workflow. If you know some basics, right? You don't have to do it perfectly, but get some basics right and just integrate it before you start opening Figma, because already page structure, like mega menu, the way people flow through the pages,
mm-hmm.
uh, that already touches a lot of accessibility parts, like the
Yeah.
buttons, for example. You told me, like last time you told me a thing about menus. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that and can show a practical example in Elementor.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said about buttons in menus, like that's also a thing where many people make a mistake. But like this is actually part of design. Like you should not think about the button once you start developing, unless you're thinking about what kind of widgets to use. But like maybe it shouldn't be a button at all. Maybe it should be just part of the menu, and then so yeah, I see. I'm starting to see how I can integrate it better. It's not just an optimization process. It's a design. It's part of the design.
It's part of the "don't make me think"
Yeah,
movement.
yeah,
We're all
yeah,
tired, especially in the Western world. We're all overwhelmed. We're all
yeah,
tired. And then can you imagine? I mean, hey, everybody knows that feeling, right? Especially when you're young. You're going out on Friday, you're going out on Saturday, on Sunday you have a hangover. You realize that the milk has gone sour and that you have no food in the fridge, so you want to order something online. And
mm,
then when that is made hard for you, that online store that delivers immediately with everything they have for you, that is amazing. Oh, we're going to be there in 15 minutes and we have everything for you. If that is a lousy experience, you're not going to order with them. Now imagine you have a hangover maybe after 2 days of going out, but what if you are in that state always? Or what if it is your mother or father who is tired, who are scared of the internet? I'm 54, so a really old mother, and she's scared of using the internet. I'm glad
yeah,
because she'd go bankrupt if she could. But it feels like an uncomfortable place, and it feels like scary. And this is also, I mean, this is like, for so many people, using websites feels like having to take an exam that no one told you what it was about. Don't be that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. And this comes all down to design, but there's also technical parts, right? There's also like what kind of
Hmm.
widgets do you use, and what kind of like
Yes.
text do you add to your image. So let's hop into Elementor, okay? I wanna get like at least a few
Yes.
examples, okay? So I'm going to
Hmm.
share my screen. Let me know if you can see it, and then I will. We can walk through some examples. Okay, so I switched my screen now. I have downloaded a Elementor template kit. Can you see this beautiful Juices website?
No, I don't. I see you.
Oh, oh. Um, okay. Do you have this the wait? Maybe you can open the stream on another monitor.
Let me see. Let me open the screen stream on
Okay.
another monitor. Hang on.
I'm just gonna quickly check some comments in the meantime. Dennis says, to be honest, I haven't learned a thing on school back then. Dennis also went to
Well, this,
design
but
school.
yeah, but this is one of the things that is so that surprised me the most. That people going to official education to learn about design, about creating websites, that this is not part of their education. I recently spoke to someone who teaches at a university here in Germany, and they
Hmm.
do the or it's not a it's like a HBO. I don't know how you say that
Yeah,
in English. It's
University of
higher
Applied
education for
Sciences.
design.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And then I asked him, like, okay, how much time is spent on accessibility?
Hmm.
And he told me during the entire course it was 2 times 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah. That's not a lot. Like,
Okay, so I do see the live stream, but it has a
uh,
delay. It has an extreme delay.
okay, okay. Maybe you can just guide me and tell me what you would do, and then I will click on Elementor and click on some things.
Yeah, we can try that, but the delay between, I still hear what I'm saying, what I was saying 10 minutes ago, and my camera is
Oh.
going unsharp again like
Oh,
crazy.
okay, okay. Please turn off the live stream then. I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna click then and just turn off the screen and the stream on your other screen. So hello, English. Okay.
Is it still unsharp?
I don't know, guys. Is it still unsharp?
Guys, can
Please
you
drop a
tell me?
comment. Let's see who we have. We have Lex here from Techies Reviews. He says hello, Anne,
Alexia.
and he also says hello, Lino.
Hi, Lex.
Bachelor. Oh, yeah, that's what they called. Bachelor. I think it was called like they called it University of Applied Sciences when I was in school. But bachelor, I think is the level that you get in the first year. Whatever. It's higher education.
Hmm.
That's what matters. It's still not
Well,
sharp. Yes, unfortunately, is okay.
oh,
All
that's
right.
horrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you have another Wi-Fi network, maybe, or do you only have one?
I'm going to try and switch. Hang on.
Okay. I will just go to Elementor so we have something to test with in the meantime.
I think it's actually my camera causing these issues and not the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks really like a connection issue. It doesn't look like camera
Mm-hmm.
blur to be honest. Like
Okay.
I have.
How's it now?
Let's see. Maybe someone says maybe you can rejoin because it was good in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to try?
Sure. So I hang up and I rejoin, yeah?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Okay. Guys, she's trying to rejoin now. We can hear Anna clearly. Audio is okay. Yeah, audio is okay. I know, but I cannot even see her sharp. It's so weird. But guys, how are you liking it so far? I really like it. Oh, she's calling me again. I like it's becoming a little bit less daunting for me. That was the goal of this stream. Like I'm not just here to make content for you guys. I'm also here to learn. You know, we're on this journey together to learn more. So let's see. Assign guest one. Let's see if she can join
Our
again.
camera is off. Oh, now it's on.
Hey,
Is it
there
better
you
now?
are. It's 10 times better.
Wow.
At least for me, it's better.
Okay.
It is a lot better. Dennis says, can you ask her this question? Are they good sites with checklists for web building? Oh, yeah. Okay, at the end, I want to show a website that actually, Anna has an example of a website that has a very good accessibility and is still cool, but maybe also some learning resources would be great. But guys, please
Yeah.
know I am learning, and I'm not ready yet to make an educational tutorial. And I'm probably gonna send it to you first, Anna, before I post it.
Okay,
But
yeah, sure. You can do that anytime.
yeah,
Anytime. I mean, anything I can do to support you, because through supporting you, you support this entire community, all these people that watch what you have to say. I mean, that is like Valhalla for me. You
mm-hmm.
know, it's and I am so, how do I say, enthusiastic about the fact that you just say, hey, folks, I don't know about this yet. I am learning. You are where I was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And that you take this journey in public. And it's something that I usually ask when I work for plugin creators or software creators. Like, okay, you want me to coach you? Good. But please do it in public
yeah,
so others feel empowered to do the same, and no
yeah,
one's going to eat you for not knowing something, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've learned this throughout making content throughout the years that I think in the beginning, when I was still beginning creator, I felt more insecure and I felt like I had to prove myself, and therefore, what you're gonna do then is you're gonna put yourself on this pedestal, like, hey, I have the
Mm.
answers, but like the fact is you don't have all the answers about everything, and I think it even makes you more human if you just say like, hey, listen, I don't know about this, but this is what I found out, and in and maybe it's good, but if it's not good, then add a comment and let's learn together. I'm as much part of my own community as everybody else, and
Yeah.
of course, like I lead a community, but I'm also a student, so
Hmm.
yeah.
It's good to know that there are accessibility specialists who've been on the job for 25 years and still learn. I
Yeah.
I was recently part of a big project, and then there was something about focus. Okay, so when you use your tab key and you can see where it's moving on the screen, it's
Wait,
called the focus.
let me try.
Yes, and you can have, and when you do that in CSS,
Okay.
you can use a pseudo class called focus or focus visible. And a lot of people who know about this want to use focus visible. This is just a technical example. I'll do a little video about this in the future.
Okay.
And then all they do, understandably, is try for themselves with the tab key.
Yeah.
But it doesn't respond correctly for people who use assistive technology in a lot of cases. And then you do not see the focus. And then you think you did it all great, but you don't see the focus. And there is another thing, like if you have a customer that really puts figuratively spoken, puts the water gun to your head and says, I absolutely don't want those borders around my menu, even if you tell them they can be styled in their colors and everything. "Ah, I don't want it." Okay, could be, right?
Yeah.
Then I see this question in the Elementor groups a lot. How can I remove the lines around the menu items, for example? And then I see people giving advice like set them to 0.
Yeah.
which is the worst thing you can do, because then you take someone's possibility, even with assistive technology, to still see it. And if you
Oh.
set that outline to be 4 pixels and be transparent, then your customer won't see them and lose a ton of conversion, but that's their problem if they refuse to listen to you. But people who use assistive technology or who use a companion on the website that helps heighten contrast or whatever, because people think that we need that, um, they can still have these borders shown. If you set them to 0, you take that away. And the principle of accessible web design and development is to ensure that anyone, disregardless of how they tick, how they function, have a similar experience.
I see. Okay. Okay. I am trying to do this on my own website now, okay? And I think it's horrible. I am stuck in the top bar, and I have a top bar on my website right now for a
Mm-hmm.
course, and it's like I'm
I
stuck
know.
there.
I tried your website this morning, and I just love that you have this top bar. And it's unfortunate that the screen sharing was not working.
Yeah.
But this. I love that you put this top bar in there. It
Okay.
has to go. No, no, it's not really. No, this is a whole different session. We could do a session
Yeah.
about that one day.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because someone who uses a screen reader is potentially getting stuck in that. But the top bar, you have it in your code in the bottom of your page. Am I right?
The top bar is in the bottom of my
You put
what?
that in as one of the last elements and you told it to sit at the top?
Oh no, I didn't set it up like that.
No?
No, because I don't touch code, so I just use what Elementor gives me. I think it's. I have no idea how it works in the background, how Elementor does that.
I would have to, I will just quickly open it up because apparently screen sharing is a problem. But I'll go through
Yeah.
this with my keyboard.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to ignore the skip to content button and then I come straight into your site. So I keep tabbing, just keep tabbing on your site. Just keep doing that. From the
Yeah.
URL bar, keep tabbing
Okay.
and you will
Yeah.
see that it skips that top bar.
Oh yeah, it does.
I can tell you why it's being skipped because it is put in your site as the last element in the DOM. It's called the DOM. So in the structure, in the HTML structure, it sits in the
Okay.
bottom. This, by the way, is a very important thing for everybody. Cookie plugins also have this tendency. When you install them, they automatically go sit at the bottom of your HTML. Ah, that's the Elementor floating widget. I see it, that Dave is saying that.
Oh.
And what happens is when someone is tabbing through or using assistive technology, it's just going to go under the hood through all this code the way it is written there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this
Okay.
floating element is at the bottom. So, and this happens with cookie banners or pop-ups. Oh yeah, pop-ups. Don't get me
Pop-ups.
started
Pop-ups are
on
bad.
pop-ups.
Oh no, you don't like
No,
pop-ups.
they're not intrinsically. No, they're not always bad. Not at all.
Okay, floating element. Let
But
me
but
let me open my floating element. I have no idea how it's a template. It's an Elementor template. It's part of the theme builder
mhm.
somewhere, and it's just like you set it up here. Display conditions, singular, pages all. Yeah, there's no top or bottom. It just does that automatically.
No, this is a very important point you touch because this is really difficult for page builders. They are doing their best to be chocolate. They're trying to be everybody's friend, which I understand. And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I just hope one day page builders, it doesn't matter who they are, because there's so many, we'll build in a mechanism that tells you like, hey, you're about to use this element. Are you sure? Because this is the consequence. This is not so good for usability, or do it differently. Because, or maybe now someone can go into GitHub and say, hey, folks, we love your floating element, but if we implement it on the site, it's going to go to the bottom of the DOM, we call it, and people using keyboard or assistive technology can't get to this unless they go through the entire page. Now, if those links are intended for conversion,
Yeah.
the conversion is a hit and miss. Okay? Yeah. I see Katerina say something about the cookie banners. I know that Borlabs is working on it really hard. They asked me and a few people to help them with that.
Mm-hmm.
And there too. So this talk to Elementor if you run into these kinds of things. Talk to Brick, talk to GreenShift, talk to whatever tool you're working with them, and be nice about it. Because it could also happen that you tell them something where they're like, yeah, but you just said it wrong. They have to be
Yeah.
nice too. Everybody just
Yeah.
has to be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all
Okay.
trying to go somewhere and to reach a goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I wanna have one or a few more practical examples. Like I'm now in the media library, and I've heard something that an alt text is also very important. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So is an alt text the same as alternative text?
Yes.
Okay, just to be clear, we're talking about the same thing. So it's just this first field that you see when you open an image, and what should be there according to you?
Call someone and tell them to go buy a newspaper, and then tell them to explain to you what's on the front page of that newspaper and what is in these images.
Okay, okay, okay. So, living with pixels, basic header image with logo. Yeah, that's literally what this is. I'm just having a very
No,
boring image. Is
no,
it?
that's not. No, in your
Oh,
top, you there is you, right? Now, if gave the newspaper example, now I'm going to your website, right?
yeah,
So people come onto your website and need a description of what they see.
yeah.
So I would say Rino de Boer, a handsome young man with glasses,
Stop, stop.
you know, but just describing you because you are the product on your website. It is you. You are
Oh,
smiling. So you could also make it simpler because like over explaining, is the worst thing you can do. Nobody likes over explaining, especially with cognitive loads. So if you write Rino de Boer smiling in the camera, holding up a living with pixels coffee cup, providing a welcoming atmosphere to this website.
yeah, okay. Okay, okay. I understand. That was a good lesson. That was a good lesson. Like, let's go to another one, okay? Do you need to click on save or no? Okay.
Now, then you have to be careful. I never checked this. I haven't seen the back end of Elementary in a long time since I switched to the block editor all the way.
Yeah.
Check. Did you now put this alt text through the media library? But it's important for everyone to understand, depending on the theme that you use, and you can also use different themes with Elementary in conjunction with it, right? Not all themes provide you with the means that when you put the alt text in the media library, that it's going to be part of your page. So check if you do it in your page. So in
Oh.
Elementor, just to be sure, I always did it inside the page, just to be sure that I was going the right place. And sometimes an image needs to be described in a different way through different contexts. That can happen as well.
Okay, wait, let me try that. So what is this? LWP press shoot. So let me try to actually do that with an image.
Well,
press.
you just add the alt text to your website, to your photo, your banner?
No, it was not a it was a separate banner. It was not the actual banner. I'm trying to find the banner now. I will find it. 1 second. Yeah, I already have it here. Okay, there's no alt text right now. Okay, so I could how I would describe it.
No, the alt text. Hang on, hang on, hang on,
Oh,
hang on. Break here.
okay.
The alt text now is empty.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. This is good and not good at the same time. Let me put it like that.
Mm.
So actually, this banner is an incredibly important part of the experience of people coming onto your website, because it's you. You are the product. You are showing yourself. You are welcoming people to your website, and that is the context for this image. But probably because of the way this widget has been constructed with this banner, the image is probably in the background, and so the alt is empty. And in code, alt can be alt is quote quote, or alt can be empty. It's so now I'm saying it wrong. The alt here will not get announced. The image will not get announced at all.
Okay, and is that
You
good
can
or
try and
bad?
add an alt text to this image, but I don't think it will be. I don't think the widget will display that in the code.
And why not? And is that good or bad?
I personally think in this case that is a loss.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I
That is
see.
imagine you are this is now you are the product. No, imagine you're creating a web shop and you're selling beer glasses. I don't know, exclusive beer glasses engraved. And you have this beautiful beer glass in your header, and from the text immediately, maybe it's not immediately clear this is about beer glasses, but someone who is, well, you can see it. When you can see it, it's clear. But if you cannot see it, and it's not being described, and it all it says is we're selling glasses. No, don't call them. You call them glasses too? Now I'm getting confused.
Yeah, yeah,
Welcome to autism, folks.
yeah, yeah,
Overthinking everything.
yeah. No, I think it is.
You know what? I'm going to turn on something else. I'm going to show you. I cannot show you because we cannot share the screen, but that's okay. I'm going to set reduce motion on my system. There is something that people who are sensitive to movement
Yeah.
can set on their system. I'm on a Mac, and on Mac it's called reduce motion, and I turn that on.
Yeah, that's also.
And this is fantastic. Your banner immediately stopped moving.
Oh, I have an animation on my. Wait, let me try what you mean.
Of course, your banner is
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
news ticker,
Everything is
It stopped
animated.
moving. But now you also run into this trap of, okay, suddenly. So first it was unusable for people depending on assistive technology, because the screen reader is going to scream those links after, in a list. It's going to say, link, want to learn how to come up with design yourself. Or the Figma design course is now being developed. Link, get the pre-sale discount here. Link, want to learn how to come up with web designs by yourself. Link. This is what a screen reader sounds like. But now, if someone has vestibular disorder or is otherwise irritated by a lot of animation and they set this on their computer, and there's a lot of people who do that, then the chance of your banner here converting the way you intended to just slim down.
Yeah. I see. So you think like for many people, this top bar would not really work?
Well, yeah, but instead of thinking in okay, for many people it will not work, so that's a no. Is what can I change about this
Yeah.
idea that I had with that banner,
Hmm.
so it will work for more people than it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I see.
Try to come from yes.
Okay, I see I have some work to do. That's interesting. Um, Definitely, but let's move on a little bit, because I see this is the start of the rabbit hole. Okay, like I don't want to go too
Mm-hmm.
deep into the specifics, because I also do have some questions, because this is
Mm-hmm.
just my website, right? But um, we're talking about animations now, so I'm gonna open one website that has one of the most animations of them all.
Well, which one is that?
Yeah, apple.com. What? Okay, let me open like the MacBook page, okay? Because we all know Apple loves their animations. So let me just go to MacBook Pro, and there we go. It already starts with an animation, and then if I scroll down, I know for
Okay,
sure.
I'm going to follow you live here, right? Because I
Okay,
cannot see what you're doing. MacBook Pro, all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, I love it. So
Are
many.
you on a Mac?
I'm on a Mac, yeah.
Okay, now go to your settings,
To my settings.
your Apple
Okay,
settings,
yeah.
then go to system settings.
Guys, you cannot see that. I only share my Chrome, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, you can kind of, or not. No. Oh wait, that's just the Apple website. Okay, I was confused. Sorry. Uh, Settings.
So you're going
Yes.
to, yeah, you go to settings, and then in the top left in the search bar, you're going to type reduce space
Reduce.
motion.
Reduce motion. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, and then you click it, and then on the right, it's the third option. On the right, you can turn that on.
Reduce motion. Yeah. I put it on right now. So now I reload the
Did you?
website of Apple.
Cool. Now reload the Apple website. Reload it.
Okay, I'm gonna reload it. Oh yeah, there's no animation. And let's see over here in these tabs. Oh, let's see. I'm curious. Can we go to the next tab? Oh yeah. Oh wait. Okay, there is a video though, but that's not. Yeah, that's kind of like an animation. But the tabs, they do not animate. Yeah, I mean, video is hard to stop, but like at least the big tabs don't shift from left to right. They just click and they're there.
You can stop the video. The control is at the bottom.
Okay. Wait.
Here's the thing.
Oh, you can stop the
Making
video.
the
Yeah.
experience, making the experience the same for everyone and give them control to start and stop something is part of that.
I see.
And so you have the possibility to put a start stop mechanism here, and there are always people crying murder, and I understand that from a design point of view. Like, oh, I don't want to put this control on my video or on my. So at Apple, they did a compromise and they put the control of that video. It's the one that's called like Get the Highlights, built for Apple Intelligence.
Yeah.
They put it below.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the
And
page is more
this
boring
is
now, but
also
it works.
important for everyone here. It's more boring to you, but to me, the Apple website without reduced motion is completely unusable.
Mm-hmm.
I buy my stuff through AMAC, sometimes even Amazon, just because I cannot chew on that darn Apple website.
Oh, okay. But with the reduced motion, it's pretty good, right?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Let's now try my website.
Now, speaking about motion, because of course, reduced motion turns everything off, which is best practice of them all. Just turn all the animations off, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know you will have customers pressuring you really hard to still have animations. Like, okay, we reduce the motion, because actually now it stops the motion, right? But it says reduce motion. Reduce motion is a class in CSS. So if you like to play with fire, or you think you can do animations so subtle that they won't bother anyone when they turn on reduced motion, then you can use that class to, it's called prefers reduced motion, to influence your animations. I have an article on my website about how to do accessible GSAP animations, for example. Because yeah, you can still use GSAP. I heard like, oh, I cannot use GSAP anymore, but you can. But the thing is, do it the other way around. You know, design your website without all the animation voodoo, and then add animation that is subtle. And the website I'm going to talk about at the end of our session here is has so masterfully done that.
Okay, okay. So, I see. My website is not. It still has a lot of the animations, but I see the point now. Like Apple did it in a very good way. There were still some videos, but you can pause them. And I saw somebody in the comments say, if a video is over 5 seconds, it will have a
Yes.
pause button. Like that is kind of cool. If you, I mean, now I'm learning about accessibility. But like from an accessibility point of view, it's really cool that Apple does that, because I was like, Apple is gonna be horrible at this, but like they're not. Like they're doing this very well. So
They are amazing, and they're building also great products with accessibility in mind, and they too learn, and we all learn.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Please tell me the website that also was, what did you say, was horrible before, and then they
Yeah,
changed
okay.
it, and
I'll
now
I'll
it's
just
still
tell
cool.
you I'll just tell you that little backstory.
Yeah.
So, over 2 years ago, Elementor decided to take their bug reports and feature requests to GitHub. Now, GitHub for me is like eating a sandwich. It's my daily thing. I know what to do, how to go there. But GitHub is very intimidating to people who are otherwise not working in development or whatever. So at that time, I thought, you know what? Just make a quick video tutorial for unsuspecting Elementor users about how do I create an account on GitHub? How can I give a feature request, a bug report, whatever? Okay. But I hadn't seen that sign up experience since 2011. So I'm all happy, all set. And I open up the GitHub sign up page in incognito mode, and suddenly I'm like Captain Picard flying through the universe with stars coming at him with LSD in his glass of water, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and that was so overwhelming. Actually, it was so overwhelming. It was potentially also dangerous to people with epilepsy, for example. Okay. And I understand where they came from. You know, there was so much love in this animation. Like, look, we are we're going to do new things, explore new worlds, build new stuff. And they had just opened an accessibility discussion in in GitHub itself. So I wrote to them like, hey, folks, this is the background. This is why I would want to ask you to create a different sign up experience, because this is really, really bad for a lot of people. And we could do so much better. Do you need my help? What can I do? And then it was quiet for a long time. Sometimes I would put a pin in it on social media, getting a bit nasty. I can be nasty too, you know. And then suddenly, about 6 months ago, I got a message from Carrie Fisher. Not Carrie Fisher from Star Wars, folks. Carrie Fisher, the accessibility specialist. She's an amazing person. She does great work in accessibility. There are tons of great articles from her on Smashing magazine. And she said, "We have seen your message. That in itself almost made me cry. I was so happy, like they're seeing it. People are always thinking nobody's listening to me.
Yeah.
Some companies never reply when you try to even help them to make something better, you know. And they saw that, and then she said, "Hold on, we'll get back. We'll tell you about it. You can follow that discussion on GitHub." And then in March this year, I got a message say, "Have a look."
And then?
And I went onto the new sign up page of GitHub. And in no time, I wrote a blog article about it saying, "Okay, designers, your excuses are officially dead now."
Wait, I think I saw that article. You were going. Wait, on
Like I
wait, let me
said, I
see.
can get nasty too. But you know, what you need to realize is that people like me, my colleagues, we are being stomped on. We get a lot of negative comments from others who feel threatened by our comments, by what we're trying to do. And I understand that. But when someone is angry, they don't listen. They don't know what you're saying anymore. And if people are open to think differently, you can achieve so much. It is crazy.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And GitHub proves it.
GitHub.
This is
Okay, let me
insane what
check.
they did. And if you scroll down, you have reduced motion probably still on.
No,
So
I
you
already
might
turned it
want to
back
turn
on.
that off, and then you can, yeah. You see these beautiful subtle animations. It
Yeah.
is it is done with so much care and so much love, and this is accessible. Period. Bam.
So this is okay to you, like these 3D little characters that fly in a little bit from the bottom.
It's just not oppressive. It's not
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Hmm. Yeah, I see.
So I do not feel the need to turn off my motion settings, you know?
Yeah, I see. And that's nice. It's kind of like, I mean, it's what I've been saying like in my videos for a long time is that animations should be subtle. It's and this fits perfectly in that. I think people often want to go overboard with it, but like this is what you're
Mm.
saying. This animation at the top is actually quite complex. It's 3D. There's like a light. So in terms of
Hmm.
technicality, it's pretty complex. But um, you're saying it's not overwhelming, and I think that's an eye that designers has have to develop, because I think we judge animations as like a black and white thing, where
Hmm.
it's like, oh, we cannot use animations anymore. It's like, well, yes, you can, but
You know,
it's
you
in the way
know,
you do it.
you know, it's not always easy to put yourself in the shoes of your users, but a lot of us have been to markets in southern countries in Europe, for example. You know that experience. They're all pulling your sleeve literally, and then buy my bags, buy my clothes. Here, look. Oh, you
Yeah,
want jewelry? They're going to be in your face all the time.
yeah,
As a Dutch person, there is nothing I hate more than that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We don't like to be touched. We don't like to be approached like that. It's cultural, but I think a lot of cultures have this. But
Ah,
actually, animations or pop-ups coming into your face at times that are uncomfortable. You know, those websites where you are just beginning to read what's on it, and you're like, "Oh, this is really interesting." Bam! Sign up for my newsletter, you person.
yeah, yeah. That's horrible. I really dislike those pop-ups that are like coming. They're coming in way too aggressively. Like I know that marketers will say, like, yeah, but they work, they convert, and I'm like, yes, they convert to 1 or 2% of the audience, but the other 98% hates it.
It's no, well, the thing is, this is a nice topic to do another one, another roundabout, for example, because what I often get is companies who are in dispute with their SEO companies. They're paid thousands of euros to optimize search engine, to do the search engine optimization. and they've put a lot of money towards advertisements and whatever, and they celebrate the 0.5, half a percent click rate going up. They're like, yay,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why are you yay? You're
Yeah.
walking away from 10 to 12% here.
Yeah.
But if I say that up front to a company, they're like, we don't believe you. Show me the A/B tests. And the thing is, doing A/B tests with that is very extensive work. I hope someone will do it one day in such a way that everyone can see it. But the numbers prove it. So the bounce rate is going to stay high. And it's this inexplicable bounce rate that,
Yeah.
despite optimization, people keep bouncing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this, I don't even have to see a website. I can tell them you're inaccessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like.
You know what, Lino?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you're going to create now, because you are so talented as a designer, I think.
Well, thank you. I think now that you tell me all of this, I think that for now it's all putting it in a box for me, because many of the things that you say
Mm-hmm.
are actually already what I do with UX design. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a live stream next week at the same time where I'm gonna redesign an app in Figma from a company, and I am probably gonna use many of the things we talked about here,
Mm-hmm.
principles. So I think for me it's quite natural, to be honest. Like, of course I need to learn the technical things, like with the menus and stuff like that. But I think I can do it. Yeah, that's what I want to say. But
Oh,
I have to
Dennis
learn.
is having a lot of fun, and he sees the world different now. There is one question I see in the comments. I'm not trying to get distracted by the comments, but there is a great
It's okay.
question from Katerina. Is it true that sticky headers are impacting accessibility?
Oh,
Yes, they can. And one of the things that we don't realize is we are thinking in terms of mobile and desktop, right? And maybe tablet in the middle.
yeah.
And when we design on desktop, that's all that's on our brains. But there are people who have to enlarge whatever is on the page. So they're going to use control plus 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 and go up to 200 to 400%.
Mm,
And then suddenly you end up with that mobile view. Now, if you have um, something that is on top of that, so a sticky banner or a sticky box, we should actually try that on your website and see what happens if we enlarge it.
what?
Let's do that.
What do you want? What do you want? A sticky menu? You mean?
I have enlarged your website,
Oh, let's try.
your sticky animated banner,
Yeah.
right? And now if I start scrolling on the website, I have the mobile experience,
Yeah.
and it is taking up 1/3 of the screen. And if people have smaller screens than I do, it's taking up a lot.
Wait. Is that?
So when you also,
You mean
are you
the
gonna try?
sticky bar? Yeah, I'm trying it. Like the ticker bar, you mean? Because for me it's not
Yeah.
zooming in. Or am I? Wait. Am I doing this correctly? 200%.
I still have reduced motion off. I will put it back on and see if that changes something.
I don't get what she is meaning, guys. Like, do you understand?
I can share my screen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work though, because last time it crashed. I'm a
Okay.
little bit scared.
All right. Oh yeah, you said something about that.
Yeah.
So I have your site in front of me, and I
Okay.
have the viewport set to be 1920 to 1080 pixels, right?
Okay.
And with Command plus or Control plus, I have
Yeah.
just enlarged the view. So I have zoomed in.
Yeah.
I'm zooming in now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm zoomed in. And now 1/3 of my screen is your banner flying by with all these links that you have. And it does have a close button.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good.
Wait a second. And you know what's interesting? I can get to that now with a keyboard. Oh, no, I can't. Okay. Oh, I accidentally hit your pre-launch. So now I'm here. I have mobile view actually in desktop size. And when I scroll, this banner is just sitting there on top of everything. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about the ticker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, okay. You're not a fan of my ticker, huh?
No, I'm not against your ticker, but I think that the developers who created the widget should have thought things a little bit through. I mean, I have
Yeah.
the same issue on my website, but I have a sticky box on my website somewhere that causes a minor problem, but I leave them on because I love for fresh accessibility interested people to come onto my website to catch me make an accessibility mistake. Sometimes I leave
Yeah.
things in on purpose
I
because then
see.
they'll contact me and then we will get into a dialogue. I
Yeah.
have one image on my website that doesn't have an alt text,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
for example.
That's your
But
Easter egg.
when you develop widgets for whatever, yeah, whatever page builder or theme you're creating for whoever,
Mm-hmm.
think this through. Like, what happens if someone has to enlarge the screen to mobile view because they have trouble reading it? I created this video. It's less than a minute about blind people don't visit my website, where I show what happens when people are colorblind, when they're tired, when they have diabetes, when they only see things through like a hole,
Yeah.
or when they have an element in their sight obstructing their view. Those are people who are enlarging the screen. And I can tell
Mm.
you that this is happening with a lot of people over 40.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see. I'm already zooming in. Like sometimes my computer. I had this with my old office like 4 years ago, when I worked in the Netherlands, and I had two younger guys working for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I zoomed in my screen, my font. I made it bigger, and they laughed at me like, "Ah, you're old." I was like, "Yeah, but sometimes it's just so small." and
Yeah, but it's like
and
that. And
yeah.
and 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 why should you squint? Squinting makes you tired. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, another thing which I have noticed with myself is that I used to, I think, unconsciously praise myself for doing a lot of things at the same time, even though I'm aware that multitasking is not good and I'm trying to do one thing at the same time. But I, for example, had always a lot of tabs open in my Google, and many people have this
Mm.
issue, right? But since I've tried to become more aware of where my energy flows out of my body, it sounds a bit like woo woo, but I mean this, like we don't always realize what things makes us exhausted, and I'm starting
Mm-hmm.
to become more aware of my own energy and where it's leaking. And many tabs open in my browser is just an energy drainer, and I didn't think about that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's nice to have them all open because then I can come back to them. But like in a single day, okay, maybe you do 10 things, it can happen, but like when you think about it, you can still open that tab and find it easily. But it's just so
Yeah.
much nicer to have only a few tabs open. And this is all about this mindset of having less cognitive load,
Yes.
which is mainly what you're talking about. You're not just talking about people that are blind, for example, and of course they are also there, but like it's more about just like you said, don't make me think. And this really connects to me. So that's my biggest takeaway from this talk so far, because this is also how I like to design. Don't make me think.
There's a book
This is
about
what it
that.
should be all about. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
book called that, and
Oh, a book.
it should be lying around in every design course there is.
Okay. All right. Let me check. Let me see if there's an Amazon. Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to put the pressure on, but I need to leave in like 5 or 6 minutes.
Oh yeah. This stream is taking a little longer, but it's that's okay. That's okay. I think we are at the
That's
end
okay.
of.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's just normally I wouldn't mind, but I have a dentist appointment.
Dentist. Okay. Okay. Listen. Let's round it off.
Dentist, yay!
I I was already like sharing my conclusion, what I took away from this, and that's the most
Hmm.
important one. I'm gonna try to, or no, I will get that ebook, um, because these days I like to read on my iPad and do not have too much stuff in my
Hmm.
house. Is one of the things to reduce chaos.
Overload,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna order that book, and yeah, I'm just happy that I found a connection with my already UX focused workflow. Like I'm always trying to teach
Hmm.
my audience to think about, to step back, to zoom out and think about the why. Like why is this website like this? Um,
Hmm.
and for what kind of people? And that's a very important question. I mean, websites for younger people can have a little bit more craziness and animation, but if you already know that your website is mainly going to be used by people over 40, then you should really care about this, right? So it adds this extra dynamic to the design workflow, and it's not so hard as I thought. um, because like you said, we don't have to think about the law. We just want to make things accessible, and it doesn't have to
Usable,
be yeah.
usable, usable, inclusive and usable. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning. So yeah, I think
No,
that's what I wanted to achieve in this stream. It's more like an opening to a subject, and I'm not trying to master anything here anytime soon.
I'm so proud that you made me part of that. Thank you, because there are lots of wonderful people with lots of accessibility knowledge. Dave is here too, David Donato.
Hmm.
He knows a lot, and I see other people making remarks in the chat that clearly show they know a lot about it. And it's beautiful. If we all do this journey, we help each other, and feel free to bring me on anytime if you want to get into something specific.
Yeah, absolutely. I maybe I want to learn more about it over time, and for the people, if they want to check you out, then this is your website, right? And you are also quite active on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm super active on Twitter. I'm super active on LinkedIn. And
Okay.
my website has a lot of rainbow colored elements just to prove that there is no such thing as an inaccessible color. It's just how you use them.
I see. I see. Okay. So if people want to connect with you, your
Thank you,
website
Dennis.
and your Twitter is now in the screen. And yeah, I learned a lot, Anna. This was a great opening. This is what I wanted to achieve
I'm
with this
glad.
stream.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah. This has been great.
All
So
right.
I
Have
wanna.
a lovely evening. It's late
Yeah.
for you.
Yes, it is. Everybody say goodbye to Anna because she has to go to the dentist. I hope it's not too bad for you.
No.
Okay, great. And did you notice I turned off the music? It's for you.
Yes, you did. And it was very nice from me. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also on Mastodon. Katrina is saying it, but I always forget to look on Mastodon. I'm so sorry.
Okay, people say goodbye to you, so see you later. I'm gonna turn on some music once you click away, okay, and then
Okay.
yeah.
I'll hang up and we'll talk later. Thank you so much,
Okay,
people.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you. Yeah, let's turn on some music. Yeah, guys, this was great. Do you still wanna leave your comments? What did you learn? Like, I wrote down quite a few things. It's not all about the law. Don't view it through that lens. Menus should be good, like not too big, not too visual, which already fits into my design philosophy. You can use automatic color checkers. Breadcrumbs are important. I don't know if this is important on all kinds of websites. Yeah, design is how it works. And accessibility also. Function over form. It all connects. It's beautiful. Don't make me think. It's beautiful, guys. Let's see if you guys... Let's rave. Yeah, let's do it. Good one. Yeah. Yeah, I also have learned a lot today, eBay. Motion issues I'd not focused on before. Yeah, that's also an interesting one, right? It's this cognitive overload is something to keep in mind, even for myself. Like I said, like I'm so like often overwhelmed. It's not always nice to have all these bouncing things in your face all the time. I have been confirmed in many of the things I've read about. And yes, don't make me think. Yeah. Have you read that book, Katarina? I really want to read it now. That sounds so good. Try the color checker, color contrast analyzer, CCA. Oh, let's see. Color contrast analyzer. Let's see. Color contrast analyzer. Which one? Oh, it's a Chrome thing. Oh, is it? Hey, it's not no longer available. Which one do you mean? Who said that? Dennis. Dennis, which one do you mean? First one. Thank you, Dennis. You're so fast. This one. Color contrast analyzer. Windows, Mac. Oh, it's a Mac thing. Wow, that's a big cookie bar. It's very ugly. Oh my god, look at this app. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that's one thing they can improve. The website's kind of cool. It's okay. Yeah. Yo, I mean, in my Figma design course, I also have 2 websites or 3 that I recommend for color contrast checkers, but not like a full Mac app that does the whole thing. That's interesting. Okay, guys. Oh, I joined late. Hey, Sagar is here. I joined late, but I'm sure it must have been an amazing conversation. I've met Anne in person multiple times. She's truly great at accessibility. She's changed many of my perspective on it. Yeah, Sagar, it's the perfect moment. Because like next week, what we're gonna do, Sagar, I'm not gonna say it yet, or can I say it? Can I say it, Sagar? Let me know. But I have actually learned a few things from her, which I can take to the next week live stream about what we're gonna do. So it's it fits into the whole design philosophy of keeping things easy, and that's what I want to do with apps in general. Like, I have this passion for good UX design. Yes, please, we should announce it. Okay, guys, let me announce. Next week, I am going to redesign the app of UIChemy live on YouTube. This place, okay? It's the same day, same time. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna redesign the UIChemy Figma plugin. UIChemy has a very nice website, but their actual Figma plugin, in my opinion, could improve on the usability, the user flow, the UI, and also the cognitive overload. I think it has a little bit too many. I think the brain has to process a little bit too much in this plugin in order to get to the result. And with plugins like this that take multiple steps to get to the end result, it is very, very important that the brain doesn't have to process a lot. And this is exactly what Anna was talking about all the time. Don't make me think. Okay, so next week that's gonna be the live stream. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, exactly. And a huge thanks to Sagar Patel from UIChemy that allowed me to do that, because not every company does that, even though I do give UX feedback to many companies inside of WordPress. You have to split it too, Reno, design elements, etc. And the website, all technical. What do you mean, Dennis? What are you referring to? Or are you referring to the Color app? Great, and with accessibility in mind. Yeah, Katarina, that's what we're gonna do. Are you going to redesign your own website? Yeah, I should. That's a big project though, very big. So I should like, that's a big project. I cannot just do that in the live stream. That would be a little bit too irresponsible. Did you know that there are fonts that are made for accessibility? I did not know, Katarina. That is very interesting. Can we filter that on like Google Fonts or something? That would be interesting if we can like do that. Can we do that here? I mean, some fonts of course are not accessible. Probably all of these fancy fonts like this, artistic fonts, they're probably not accessible for people with bad eyes. Yeah, this kind of shit. Colored. Oh wait, I'm having multiple filters now. Colored font. Ooh! Oh, that this is even part of Google Fonts. Horrible. I didn't know. Oh my god. That's weird. Look at that. Seasonal, Christmas, Halloween. I don't know if we can do that here. Can we? No, in general, Reno. Okay, wait, what did he say again? You have to split it too, Reno. Design elements, etc. And the website, all technical aspects. Yeah, you mean in the design process, right? Like you have multiple steps where you go through instead of doing everything at the same time. The best one is Atkinson Hyper. Okay, wait, let me try. Atkinson Hyper legible. This one. Why is this one so good? I like it though. I really like it. It's a little bit like the font I'm using right now. I like this one. And Inter's also good. Yeah, Inter. I love Inter. Yes. Yes, Dennis. I use these two fonts in my design. Yeah, I really love this one. Really love it. I'm just gonna get that. Actually don't download fonts anymore that much. I'm like, oftentimes I just yeah, in today's tools, it's just we can select things. And now Elementor also has that feature where you can, after you use a font, you can load it from local without having to put it in the custom font. So before this, we had this like custom fonts over here. Yeah, sorry, I missed the music, guys. I completely understand. Like we're keeping it cool for Anna, but I want some music. Okay, normally, wait, let me put it down. It's probably too loud. Okay, normally you would put your fonts right here, your custom fonts, and then you would load it, not from the Google servers, but now you have this feature in here in the settings for performance. It's probably part of performance. And no, it's not. Why is it not part of performance? Huh? Is it part of advanced? Oh, it's part of advanced. Here. No. No, wait, where was it? Uh-oh. Fallback, blocking. Where was it? Is it a new feature? I cannot find it. Oh, here. Load Google Fonts locally. To improve page load performance, that's why I don't understand why it's not part of the performance tab, but alright. And user privacy, replace Google Fonts CDN link. CDN is loading it from the Google server with self-hosted font files. So then it will save the font files on your hosting and just load it from there. This approach downloads, yeah, here, and serves font locally from your server, eliminating external requests from the Google server. Yeah, exactly like I said. But that's more about performance. That's not what this stream is about. Reno, don't get distracted now. You just want to get to conclusions, okay? Inter and pop-ins are old school, like Verdana and Helvetica. Yeah, I know these fonts are cool, but this is like the challenge, right? With accessibility. You want to make it cool, but you also don't want to make it boring. It's better for Google PageSpeed to use a font locally and preload it than externally. Yeah, exactly. Fonts should be served by you, not linked to Google. That's a law over there in Europe. Well, that's not really true. It's like you can use Google fonts loaded from the Google service, but you have to put it in your privacy policy. I think that's how it works. That Google fonts are there, right? That's how it works. It's so hard. I struggle with the music too, as may be more people. I do not expect Anna and myself to be exceptions. Yeah, okay. Else, I'm sorry. I will put it a little bit lower. Okay. Is it too much? Let me know, guys. Are there more people that don't like the music? It's a privacy thing. Yeah, I think because Google collects data. I mean, that's Google's machine, right? They make their services better with all that data. And so they collect data on all those websites that use Google Fonts. Very smart, but that's part of the GDPR law that you should at least say when that happens. I think that's how it works. It's not that you cannot load Google Fonts from your website. Okay. I think we're getting to the end, guys. I think I wanted to get what I want. I got what I wanted in this stream. Again, accessibility has become more accessible to me now because of Anna, and that's what I wanted. So Anna is not here anymore. Anna is now in the dentist, at the dentist. But I just want to thank her again if she's watching this last part of the stream as a replay, because this video automatically will become a replay. Let me know if you liked it. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Good luck, Reno. Have a good sleep. Thank you, because it's already 10 o'clock here. One more comment about the volume. Low volume is even more difficult because I try to hear that. It draws attention and energy. Oh. Okay. Music is competing with speech. Harder to hear you. Okay, guys. I'll think about it. Now I put it even lower. Thank you for doing this. This was fun. Sleep well. You too, Lex. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna sleep already. It was a great live. Thank you, Reno. Thank you, Katarina, as well. So, I'll think about the music. If more people complain, then I will think about it. I really like the music to hear it myself, but that does not mean that you guys should hear it, right? Okay, that was it. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time in next week live stream. Same time, same place.